Paul, do you think you'll ever go to space? You know, like when Lance Bass tried to go to space, but was immediately stopped because Justin Timberlake left the band. Well, he thought he ultimately would spend all his life's earnings trying to get there to space. Then after Justin leaves the band, not being able to earn it all back. Well, he wasn't a bad singer. It's just that Justin Timberlake was very talented and heavily sought after. His solo career was going to take off. I don't think the other members of NSYNC could demand that type of cash. Okay, settle down. What does that have to do with space? Well, nothing basically. It's just that Justin Timberlake's career was taking off, and Lance Bass's career was becoming grounded. I guess gravity affects you differently depending on if you're Lance Bass or Justin Timberlake. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Code Coder. I'm your Code Coder, here to make you great and help you innovate. In this episode, we're going to take a closer look at world settings and how they affect your game. We'll show you how to customize and edit your world settings to make levels interesting. You'll learn how to play around with various properties to adjust the gravity, time, warp, bounce settings, and more within your game. We'll also further explain the different character gameplay settings, which more specifically defines the behavior of your character in that world. And then we're going to get into building more levels for Glitch. We'll learn the art of layering and how to test out your levels in debug mode. Look, I've taken my share of math and physics and science classes, Calc 2 and physics in college. And just when I felt these classes were going to pay off, BuildBox brought these concepts to fruition. Great word. Didn't Sting use that in a song? Anyway, you don't need calculus or physics to do BuildBox, but understanding the concepts may help out, like gravity. I know that gravity is the continuous force acting on every object in our world. Well, with BuildBox, the same applies to every physics object. So speaking of abstraction, this could be a jump start of these tough disciplines for you, meaning just playing with world parameters within BuildBox can help your understanding of complicated formulas that those higher level math and science classes use. Or this might be your ticket for getting your game to take off into the stratosphere, like Justin Timberlake's career after leaving NSYNC. No disrespect, Lance Bass. Let's get going. So the first thing we want to do is start BuildBox. So I go Command Space, BUI, and it'll come up in your Spotlight search, and I will open BuildBox. All right, on the left side is all the tutorials or all the projects we're working on. I will go ahead and click on the one we have been working on. And the first thing that comes up is the menu editor, okay? And let's make this nice and big. All right, and we'll put it right here. All right, now let's talk about this. If I click on the world just once, just click on it once, you'll see on the left side, I have all of these properties, okay, for this world. Okay, and you can see one of the first settings is the name of the world. You should get used to naming your world because you're going to put more worlds in your game and you don't want to get confused on which world you're trying to work on. So I'm going to say World Original. We are going to add other ones later on. All right, after the name, you'll see that'll show up over here now. Okay, World Original. Over here, I forgot that it's actually over here, right there, World Original. Okay, and then so here are gravity settings. So right now it has an X and a Y. This is just like your math classes, okay? X and Y. So X goes to the right. It's on the horizontal line to the right. And Y, positive Y goes up. So if I went 50, the gravity would be affecting up, okay? And if I went a negative 50, okay, gravity would be affecting the other way. Actually, 50 would be, the gravity is up, so it's going to force you that way. Minus 50 means it's down, so the gravity is going to force you back down the ground. This is kind of like how our world usually works right here. So it's a negative y on our gravity. We can't go up. Okay, so I'm going to return x to 50. And how do we get this gravity working? Because we've been working like this the whole time. It's just that we haven't seen any effects. Well, in BuildBox, gravity affects physics objects. So I have to show you how to turn something to a physics object. So I'm going to go in the world, and I'm going to go into the very first scene, which is the start scene. Now remember, the start scene is always at the beginning of every gameplay. Okay, it starts no matter. And I'm going to take an object like a platform object, and I'm going to drop it right in here like this. All right, a little bit down like that. Okay, and this physics object is a platform, and you can see in the upper right hand corner here, it's fixed. So I want to switch it from fixed to physics. Now it'll take on gravity. Okay, so if I go ahead and play that, which I'm going to do now, let's make sure I make this perfect, and I'll try not to shut it once I get it set. There we go. All right, and I start it, you're going to see that block automatically fall down, and man, it kind of whacks me on the way down. Okay, so it's being affected by gravity. All right, it felt like it was an XY because it felt like it went down and to the right. So I think I have some gravity settings on there that I didn't want. Oh yeah, so you see I still have the Y. So it drops down and to the right, which makes sense, right? Okay, so let's not have that Y in there, and let's just have it do this. Okay, and start it that way. Oh, still looks like it goes down. Let's refresh it. Oh, that Y, see how that 50 is still in there? Let's delete that and put 0. I guess that's why if you have nothing in there, it'll default back to the previous one. Okay, and play that. And start it, and so it falls straight down. Now you can see it's falling down and it's pushing me out of the way. I can't get out of the way unless I go around it. All right, so let's try to fix that. So if I want to go ahead and maybe be able to push that object off, there's a friction setting in the world. See the friction? So it's about 50. Well, if I set it to 0, it'll be like ice. I can push it. Okay, so let's scroll that back and play it. Refresh it and start it, and now it drops down, but yet instead of pushing me, it's like it's on ice, and I could push that block away from me. Okay, very nice. All right, let's talk about some more settings in this original world. So that was friction at 0. All right, there's another thing called velocity drag, and velocity drag will be how quickly gravity hits us. So what I like to do is when I'm trying to play with these settings to see what they do, if I set them to like 1,000, it'll make a dramatic effect and I can see the difference. So I'm going to set velocity drag to 1,000, and you're going to see it's going to be like going, dropping down, but it's like in mud. It's stuck. Gravity's in mud. Okay, so I start it. So there it is. It can't even get down. It's so slow. All right, so let's move that to something more manageable, like maybe 100. And play that. Refresh it, and you should see it slowly merging down. See that? How it's going down slowly. In fact, it doesn't even get down by the time I get past it. So that's what velocity drag is. I'm going to set that back to 0, and I want to talk about bounce. Okay, now bounce will be when your objects hit the ground or a surface, how they bounce off of that surface. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to, let's set that to 100. All right, and play that and start, and there it is. See how it bounces? And that's kind of neat. That's kind of a neat game. So it'd be kind of cool if you set it to where it comes down and crushes you. It's another enemy. So to do that, I would have to go into my game and click on this platform. And instead of making him a platform, making him an enemy. Now be careful here, because as soon as I turn to enemy, he goes back to fixed. So make sure that you see that and turn him back to physics. So now he's an enemy and he has physics. All right, so let's go ahead and play him. And I'll refresh this, and you'll see that now he bounces up and I come down and I'm safe. Of course, I'm too safe. So let's actually push this up a little bit so it's a little harder to get by. So I'll play that. I'll refresh it and start it. And now he comes up and he comes down, boom, and he crushes me. All right, that's kind of a neat game. Just that in itself could be a neat scene or level for you, okay? But so in order to try to get by that guy, maybe I could have him bounce a little higher so it gives me a shot to get under him, or I could just start this down a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to the menu editor, and I'm gonna make the bounce be, let's say, a little bit higher, like 120. Play that, reset it, and now let's see if I have a chance to get by him. He's up, and I just miss it, and I'm fine. Okay, so that's nice. Okay, so I put the platform in there, and I set his gravity. You could make gravity go in a different direction, but I like that direction. You know what would be neat too? What if the enemies had a gravity like everyone else? And they should. All your characters, I think, should have common repetitive characteristics. So if the block has a gravity of -50 or something, then so should the characters. But it's not, the characters shouldn't go right, the characters should go down, and the block, the same thing. So let me try to do something like this. So in my gravity settings, instead of 50 on the x-axis, I'm going to go 0 here, and I'm going to go -90 degrees. So that should be falling straight down. And then in my bounce, 120 is fine. The platform actually won't bounce because it's not going to hit the side anymore. So I could actually take that off. All right, so I'm going to go -90 in my world, and I'm going to play that. And you're going to see the block fall straight down. And I'll dodge it because it is an enemy now. There it is. Oh, I didn't dodge it. I should have dodged it. Okay, let me retry that. How can I dodge that? I guess I'd have to get to the other side of it pretty fast. Try it. No, it's gonna always kind of fall down here. I gotta wait till it falls out of the scene and then come back after. There we go. Gravity's actually affecting me too as a character. All right, so I'm falling down also. So -90 is really kind of hurting me. Let's see here. Well, first let's try to take that. Let's try to take this platform out and let's play it and let's see if I can just keep going. Yeah, I feel like it's the gravity's pulling me down too. Okay, so let's take it back and go, instead of -90, let's do like a -50. Okay, and reset that. Start it. And see, now I still go up. Okay, really nice. And you can see that the enemies don't really, it feels like they're floating a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to set our enemies, which are in 1, and I want to set their, I want them to be an enemy, and I also want them to take on some physics. Okay, so if I go here and now play and refresh, you should now see the enemies coming out and them also dropping a -50 down. In fact, see how they spin, and they spin out there pretty fast. So they're coming at you like a slider and a fastball. Pretty tough. Okay, so that's kind of nice. All right, so you see how gravity affects you depending on if you're a physics object. That's what we're trying to get to it. Okay, that's what we're trying to get to ultimately. So that's, I basically set this world setting to -50, and I had a friction of 0, and a bounce of 0, and there's some other stuff like game direction. Minus 90 is the direction we're going, so straight up and down. And it goes counterclockwise would now be 0. If I switch it 180 and then 90. So switch those around clockwise and see if you could switch the game around. You could play with that on your own time. And now I want to talk about character settings. So if I go in here and I click on my character, what I could do is see the character has all kinds of settings also. In fact, bounce force, jump force, okay? And I find that these are actually easier talked about in another playset. All right, so I'm going to go out of glitch and go into another game template called Jetpack. All right, so let's do that now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this one. I will not save the changes, and I will go ahead and start build box again. Paul, you see that new gravity jetpack that someone made out of a 3D printer using titanium? Yeah, the guy has like 6. The guy has like, he has like 6 jetpacks. He's holding on to 2 of them, or 4, 2 in each hand, and then 1 on his back, and he actually flies. It's jetpack. Yeah, we're going to do a jetpack right now. All right. So now let's go ahead and open this. And remember the welcome screen? All right. Instead of going to any of these, we're going to go ahead and just create new. All right. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go maybe 1, 2, 3. And there's jetpack right in the middle. All right. And I will go ahead and hit create. And you're not going to have any fancy graphics in this one. We're just going to try to use some of those character settings. They're better set up in this one because it's like landscape, so it looks like Earth. So you will get these, you'll understand these more. And now remember, a lot of these deal with your gravity and whether your object is a physics object and which direction gravity is going. So you got to play, when you're tweaking with gravity, it has to be, you got to tweak 2 settings, the world gravity settings and the settings. So if you look at this gravity settings and I click on this world, you're going to see that the gravity settings are automatically set to -65. So that is like a normal Earth's gravity. All right. I don't have a bounce or a velocity. Friction's at 50. Remember, if I go to 0, it's like slipping on ice. All right. So I'll go into this world, but this time I want to click on character and I want to play with these settings over here. And I'm going to kind of move this way and scroll down so you can see these settings. Okay, and I will zoom in so Paul's not in the way. There we go. Paul's actually in the way. Okay, there's that. And I'm going to go ahead and look at some of these over here. Okay, so max speed, that's something we're going to change later with the time warp, but you can change the speed of a character. So it's at 50 right now. So I'm going to set it to like 999, like really fast, so you can see the difference. And if I play that, you're going to see a game. Let's make this so it's in a spot you guys can see. All right, and put it right up here over my left shoulder. And I'll hit start, and there it is. And see how fast it's going? And I guess I probably should have played this thing in normal speed first so you guys could see how it worked. So I'll play it again and start it. See, that's how fast it is. And then I could click, see, I could click and I could go through these. These are enemies. I can't hit any of them. And they're just the default triangle graphic. Okay, so you change that if you want to play this game or make this game. All right, so that's 50 speed, and they actually had it at 0.001. Maybe they toyed around with it and figured that was the best speed to get around those enemies. All right, but let's first talk about bounce force. Okay, so this is the x-axis, and we're going, the x-axis it's horizontal, so it's going that way. Okay, but we bounce here would be the y-axis, going straight up. So we want to play there, and if I go 1,000, all right, to really see what this bounce force does and play it, you're going to see that when I bounce, okay, boop, I go up 1,000. I come down somewhere out of the stratosphere, okay? So that's bounce force. Remember, that's bouncing, not jumping, bouncing. So you'll see he actually jumped off, or when he hits the ground, he bounces off it. I'll restart it. bounce, okay? All right, and then it comes down on top. So that's bounce force, and that's a little crazy. I'm going to take that back to 0. All right, now let's talk about jump force. Now we're on the ground and we're going to jump. So it's set at 40, but if I set that to 1,000, okay, you're going to see it go to, you know, jump to huge heights here, okay? So there, and then there I go, I jump off the ground. And it's not until I hit the ground that I can jump, okay? So that's jump force, okay? So I'm gonna put that back to 40. That's nice, okay? I got jump timeout, which means now I could click and hold jump. I don't know if you noticed, but when I click and hold the mouse, I could keep jumping. See that? So I'm jumping. Okay, and basically I can now come back and switch that to 0, and you'll see I can't hold the mouse button down to keep jumping. Okay, so I come back down right away. Okay, even though I'm holding the mouse. All right, so that's jump timeout, and that was set at 100 to start. Jump counter means how many times I could jump. So if I go 2, I could actually jump in air. So watch, I could go restart, and I could go jump, jump. I got 2 jumps. Okay, so 2 jumps, 1, 2, and I can't jump again. Okay, so it gives your character 2 jumps to play with. Pretty awesome. I'll start with a 0 there. Something else that's awesome is let's see here. So the other settings are right and left lean, which will force, lean, and rotate the character in that direction. We also have platform friction, and that is the force that brings the character to a stop on a platform. A lower number gives the character an icy side effect on the platform. So you saw this in the world settings. So let's play with it here. And here's the platform friction. So if I set that to 1,000, you're going to have like a bunny hop. See that? And I could jump, but when I'm on the ground, I can't move. So it's almost like I'm a bunny, right? So I'm jumping because my friction's so hard on the ground. You know, it'd be nice too if on this first one I got rid of these enemies so I could actually show you that easier. So let's play that, restart it. There we go. See that? So that's friction 1,000. Okay, so you can see the doom is on the horizon here. All right, so let me go back to some of the other settings. So that was platform friction. They had it set at 8. I'm going to keep it there. I think that's where they had it. Some of the other settings. So the rotation drag is just like the velocity drag, but it applies to rotation instead. Meanwhile, air drag is similar, but it slows down the character's movement in air. I thought this was kind of great because you could kind of make it like there's a windstorm. So x-axis that way. So I could say let's say it's a -20 wind drag. And now it feels like when I jump, I'm jumping into the wind. See how it kind of, I'm jumping up, but I'm not jumping forward, I'm jumping back. Let me move that back a little bit because you couldn't really tell. Let's go -60. All right, so now I come here and I go in the air and I'm almost jumping and you feel it's going backwards. And I still don't think it's enough. -100. Jump up, and I want it to really drag on me when I jump up. There you go. So I jump, looks like I'm going forward, but then all of a sudden I slow down. Okay, so if I'm going that way, you'd think my jump would be forward momentum, but I'm jumping and I'm kind of backing off because the wind is harder. So you could create that type of effect, which is kind of cool. I'll set that back to 0. So you have direct movement, which allows the character to move around the screen using directional controls. Forced movement is a setting that moves the character with the game. Fixed rotation means the character will never rotate. You also have image direction, which means the character will point to the direction of movement. So you can play with those and see how they change your levels or your game and have a good time with them. But for right now, I'm going to switch back to glitch and we're going to add more scenes to our game. So I'm going to go here. Actually, in BuildBox, I can just go File, Open, Recent, and go to that tutorial. And I think it'll ask me if I want to save that. I'll say no. And it'll close this one and open up our glitch tutorial. All right. So it's not so quick on that. So I'm going to close this one, not save it. All right, now is it loading my other one, my glitch? Please load glitch. Do this quickly. Make sure you fast forward this part. Yeah, so I don't feel like it did anything. So I'm gonna open that up. Here comes BuildBox. And here goes tutorial final. All right. Now, let's put another enemy in, okay? And let's put the ball enemy in. So I'm gonna go into my world and I'm gonna go ahead and I'll zoom this in so you guys can see, but I wanna go ahead and get my folder open so I could see those, that other enemy. So here's some enemies and I'm gonna go ahead and click on my ball enemy. Okay, so I see I have all those enemies there. I'm going to click the first one, hold shift and click the last one. I'll zoom out so I could see my platform here, and I'll go ahead and drag all those in here and I'll put it as a new object. Okay, so they put it in a new object and it put it actually in the start, and I want it to keep coming back over and over again. Remember, it goes through start once, and the other scenes go through over and over. So I actually want to put this in 2. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to Command exit, okay, Command X, and I'm going to go to 2 and Command paste. All right, so I'll put that here. All right, and remember you could add some actions to it. Here's some linear velocity. I liked what it was with the box enemy, so I'll put 10 and 10. Remember, that's going to be a random right or left movement, minus 10 to 10. Angular velocity, we liked 50 to 100. Okay, so that gives me some action there. Remember, this is an enemy, so I got to switch it from platform to enemy. And then in our last episode, we just saw, or the last tutorial I showed you, I set that to physics, so it actually dropped straight down. So let's go ahead and play this. Okay, so there it is. Start. All right, now I have it soloed out, so just the box one's playing. So I actually got to stop and go back. And remember the solos, if I click on this and hit S, it'll solo it and it'll toggle. Okay, so you see that? Let me zoom that in. So if I'm hitting S on the keyboard, it'll solo it. Okay, you could also mute stuff out. So if I hit M, it'll mute it, and then I could S the one I want. So I'm gonna, let's say I wanna mute this one, and this one, and this one. Mute, 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 and mute. That means it'll play start in this one. So it won't be, I believe that'll still be soloed out. Let's actually try it, because why do I have to solo it out if the rest of them are muted? All right, so let's play it. Let's see if I just get into that round enemy layer. Yeah, there's a round enemy. It looks like it's taken on physics, and our physics are set to 50, so it's dropping straight down. Okay, and if I hit it, it is an enemy. All right, but I got to change the world gravity settings because I don't want that. I want it to actually be, instead of 50, I'm going to actually make it a minus 50. All right, and play it. Now it should be dropping straight down at me. Okay, here we go. And I feel like it shouldn't be down there. Oh, for some reason, I got to make sure I put 0 in there, or it takes the previous. All right, so hit play and start, and they drop down right at me like fastballs. Not getting a lot of movement on that. Oh, yeah, I'm getting some movement. I see it. So there's movement, different movement, random movement, right and left. What I don't have is awake and a spawn. All right, so let's actually do that. Let's go in here and make sure it has a wake and a spawn. So remember, those are down here, wake. So we're going to say distance base and we'll put it at 300. We like that. And stop it after, let's say, 300 pass. This might keep it in the world because it's dropping down with gravity, and it might stop it. So that might be a little weird. So we'll work on that later. And then let's go ahead and make the spawn rate 1 every 0 to 5 every 1 second. All right, so that looks good. Let's play that, retry, and here we go. Okay, we have the other layers. There they go. So it's a late wake up. And then let's see if the spawn works, because both those times was just 1. Okay, 1. There's 2. Boy, that was good action. All right, so that was neat, really neat. So we got a ball enemy. I want to add one more thing that might be really challenging. Okay, so let's add this ball. Let's put it here. Okay, in fact, let's copy it and let's do the next layer. And let's paste one there and paste one there. Now, since I'm pasting the other ones, these ones are taking the characteristics of the ones I copied. Okay, so you see I have a wake up and a distance and a spawn, but let's not spawn. Let's just have these come down and roll down. Okay, so they just hit gravity and they just come at you. They don't spawn. And let's not even have a wake up. Let's just have them come down at you. So you're gonna have to try to keep your ship in between them, and they're gonna be coming down like a machine. All right, so let's try that. Now we got to make sure that we show this one. So I don't want to solo it, but I want to unmute it. So there you go, unmute it. And so now play and hit retry. Now here we go. So I should have the first level should be spawning. The second one should be just 2 of them just hauling right at me. There it is. They still have I don't want any angular either. So let's go here. I want to take the angular off these guys too. Okay, so I don't want any, and I just want them to come straight down at me. Okay, so 0, 0. I don't want them to move at all. I just want to come rolling straight down. Okay, so let me make sure it has that. I have this one has, it feels like, yeah, it feels like they didn't all get taken out. So I'm gonna have this deleted, and I'm gonna delete this one. Okay, so now if I play it, you should have these 2 pairs coming at you that are kind of hard to get around. Here we go, there's one, no problem. And they're bouncing off the one below it, so they're coming back. So this is quite a challenge. There they are, come busting by, see the pair just come at you, and you kind of have to be right in the middle or else you're in trouble. Okay, so very challenging, maybe too challenging right away, but on a later level, that would be great. Those would come buzzing right at you. Okay, so I got a couple levels with a new enemy. That's pretty great. Okay, so hope you like that. I hope you deal with world settings and also character settings. Keep adding those levels and those enemies, and I hope that helped you. Now go out there and build those levels and have fun. Kind of like Lance Bass, but before Justin decided to go solo. I'll see you next time.